Hey, I'm Captain Eddie Castellan. Let's go from this to this. Well, really, we're going to go from this to this to this. I think that's as far as we're going to go. Okay, good friend of mine, best friend of the horror world, but known him almost 50 years, gave me a chunk of Cocobolo. 10 foot long, 2x8, solid, beautiful piece of wood, and said make something. I've made about 50 projects out of it. Honestly, I don't think a piece came off this larger than 1x1. So we've used it up very nicely. But I'm going to take it to the bandsaw. I'm going to round it off. I'm going to scrape the wax off the back of it. Sand it on my plating sander. Then I'm going to go over to the lathe on a glue block that's got a depressed center. Important, depressed center in that glue block. I'm going to put this on there with some medium thick super glue. I'm going to let it sit up tonight. Tomorrow morning I'm going to come in. Yeah, that's right, I'm waiting a whole day because I do my stuff ahead of time. I plan my work my plan. Tomorrow morning I'm going to come in and start shaping it up. But I'm not real sure about this design I want to play with. So you might see me with some Spanish cedar taking it over to the Latezilla and trying the shape of a design. And basically I have sold those mock-ups and people love them. But they're just mock-ups. But it gives me an idea without spending a precious piece of wood of what it's going to look like. But I was asked to do it step by step and show you how it goes. So right now, watch. Okay, we're going to start with a glue block. My glue blocks have got a hollow core in the center and only have about 1/4 to 3/8 of an inch in the outside edge. That's so if the wood moves, either one of them, I don't pop it right off. And that'll happen with glue blocks. It has to be straight across the face. I use the back of my stot to see that it's straight right on across. And then that's good. That's good solid glue block. Now let's see if this wood is ready to glue up. Look at the bottom on the left. And you'll see that that'll absorb water where the rest of it will not. Which means I need to sand some more wax off in order to get it ready for gluing up. Now I'm going to use some flexible from CPH International, from Paul at Starbond, some flexible glue. I'm going to put it on a glue block. I've got the center marked. I'm going to bring up my quill, and then just to make sure I haven't bound this piece, I'm going to turn it a couple of times and push on it a little bit, because you can make it crooked. Then look at the backside and make sure you get a good bond all the way around. Now let's start. I normally have the tailstock up for these moves, but I'm just got it out of the way. Yeah, that's my excuse. What's yours? Now, then I'm going to come back and put a little bit off the face. Let's see, I've shaved a little bit of the face down. I'm going to go on the back and take some off. Now, this is a great way to get a catch, making these heavy cuts. Turn it back around and shape that piece, making it all cuts instead of a plow scrape. Now I'm going to use my, from Eli Avicera, a negative rake scraper. I never set this flat on a tool rest. I always use it up on a little bit of an angle that keeps from getting catches. And I'm going to take some nice sweeps here. Then I'm going to go around on the other side. I'm going to sand a little bit just to make sure I've got a good looking face here. If I got any tears or any blemishes, I can get rid of them. Now I'm going to cheat a little bit, get my 1¼ Forstner bit and drill down through the center, not generating any heat now, because if I put too much heat it'll start moving around. I'm going to use my EC tool and I'm going and do a little hollowing. I'm about 1500 RPMs here, gently with it way up on an angle because I don't want to bite. Now let me tell you, hero move is to make this too thin. You only make it thin for you, not in other wood turners, not for your customers or collectors. So I'm going to clean this out nice and gently. No catches, no catches. I don't have time to sand all this inside and it's too hard to do. So that's going to give me my basic shape. Then I'm going to take it over to Latezilla. Now on Latezilla, I'm going to start putting the scroll work around the inside. I've got an 18 lobe cutter on here, or a template. And you see the template's the third one back. And it's got 18 lumps, and it makes this cut. Now, I'll show you something. I turned off the motor because there's a minimum size you can cut. If you get too small, you'll cut the points off the other side, and you end up with junk. Now I'm going to continue. This is sort of like watching grass grow. This is really exciting. You sit here, you learn to count to 18, and then you turn the knob a little bit and do another 18, then you turn the knob a little bit and do another 18, and that's what you do for about 15-20 minutes. Then I went around on the outside, I flipped it over to the out, and I'm going to do the same thing. Come up against this and just make real light cuts all the way through. You only turn a quarter crank at a time. Now I've got the box done. I went ahead and loaded up a piece of African black wood, a 1/2 inch thick, and I flipped it around. Now this is on a 10-degree angle so that the tops mesh together really nice. And this is still cutting. This is as exciting as the other parts, like watching paint dry. Yeah. Now we do all the way through. It takes about 15 to 20 minutes to make these cuts. The lathe is turning about 3 RPMs. The cutter about 24,000 RPMs. I back up and put a little, what I like to put a little surprise on the underside of the finial crown, and that's down in a piece. And so when somebody pulls the lid off, the first thing they see is a little decoration on the bottom of the finial plug, and that's the finished plug. Now with the piece that's still glued on, I'll take this over to the lathe. I'm going to bring up my tailstock, and I've got a soft point. I'm not touching it with the steel point, touching with a soft point so I can let it set in the way it wants to. I don't want to force that piece in. And then I'm going to take my detail gouge, and I'm going to go ahead lightly take those points off. And it's a good way to tear this up right now. And then I'm going to take my stot and part this piece off and get rid of it and get that out the way. And then I'll bring my tailstock up a little bit and do some cleanups. Now at a point you got to back it off and use your fingernail gouge really sharp and make your dressing cuts, your final dressing cuts. Now you can sand a good bit of this, but tell you what, if you get it cut perfect, you don't need to do a lot of sanding. Now I need to locate my finial. I want it to be right dead center, so I'll lay my stot on the side, go up and put a little cut. You say, why don't you use a drill bit? Because a drill bit will pull that piece towards you, and that's the last thing you want to happen today. Now that's it. I've got that. I'm going to take the box off the dead man that I had it glued on, the glue block we started with, and that was of a size for a reason. I'm going to use that glue block as a flip round or a jam chuck in a moment with a very special attachment on it to take it off. Now you see, I'm cutting the glue block, not the piece. Now I'm going to shape this down and bring it just a little bit smaller than the points because of my special attachment. That's right, 3 sheets of that toilet paper that's tested by the bears in the woods. I'm going to bring this up, touch it with my soft point again. I cleaned it up a little bit, and look at this gizmo. I'm going to rubber band it onto my faceplate so I can take it over and put the decoration on the bottom. Next time we get together, I'll show you how we're going to turn the finial, decorate the bottom, polish it up, clean it up, and make this thing ready for sale. I'm Captain.